Welcome to the Pacific Northwest. Nice to see ya. I want to tell you a story. This story is about my trip to Burning Man because it was incredible. My story starts on my flight to San Francisco. I was sitting on the plane, rapidly calculating how to most efficiently get from the baggage claim across town and on the bus that would take me to Burning Man. I was doing this because I only had 80 minutes to get that all done, which is enough time, but just. While I was calculating this, on the back of my head, I was pleasantly satisfied knowing I had everything I needed to survive on the playa. The playa is also known as Burning Man. I was satisfied because I had packed my tent stakes, my tape to seal my tent from the dust, my dust mask. I had packed everything I needed to go and survive for 8 days out in the desert. You may be thinking that San Francisco is a bit out of the way to go all the way to Nevada desert, and it definitely is. The reason why I chose San Francisco is because the Burner Express bus leaves from San Francisco or Reno, and San Francisco was a bit cheaper to fly into. The plane lands and everything's great. I make my way down to the baggage claim, anxiously awaiting my bags, and just wait. And wait. And bag after bag, mine does not come. I was still optimistic, thinking like, what are the chances that mine are the only bags that didn't come? I'm thinking, I'm sure they're gonna come out just any moment. But then I hear on the announcement, can Aaron Lianga come to the counter? And I was like, no. They didn't lose my bags. The gentleman at the counter is an American man of Indian descent, and he nonchalantly says, your bags didn't make it on the flight. Those bags had everything, my tent, my sleeping bag, all of my food, my water containers, everything. My mind starts racing and saying, okay, I can sleep in the airport tonight, get my bags tomorrow, and then I'll go to Burning Man. The gentleman says, we can ship your bags to your final destination. What is the address? I'm like, there's no address. I'm going to the middle of the desert. And the gentleman says, strangely confidently, we can get your bags to you. If it's a music festival, we can get them there. And I was like, yeah, it's Burning Man. It's like in the middle of the desert. And he's like, we can get your bags to you. His confidence made me strangely confident in leaving without my bags, because he just seemed to think, he seemed to know that I would get my bags. So without my bags and without any time to really think about it, I catch a taxi and get across town to the bus. Looking back, maybe I would have made a different decision, but it's all good. I mean, what you gonna do? Anyway, I get to the bus and get my will call ticket, which I purchased a couple months prior, get my bags, and surprisingly, the bus prioritizes single passengers with small amounts of luggage. So like the first minute I went to the bus, I got right on. Amazingly, I sat beside a really awesome girl. She was from Aspen, Colorado. Almost like a fairy tale. Like you think, how could I sit beside someone that's so amazing like this? And as I sit down, I know she's out of my league, but I just start talking. And surprisingly, she seems to not notice, or maybe just being kind, and continues the conversation. And we chat and chat and chat. So about halfway into the bus ride, video starts playing. And the video tells you all the most important information about Burning Man, like where to get water, where to drop off your garbage, what to do in an emergency. And of course, I'm still talking to this girl from Aspen. And this is a one-time in a lifetime opportunity to chat with someone who I would have never normally chatted with. And of course, I ignore the video and chat with this girl. Foolishly ignored the video. The bus ride starts to come to an end. We're driving down this windy, open desert road with mountains on that side, and we turn off onto this kind of open sand road. And the wind starts picking up, and we start to not be able to see very far, and it comes like a whiteout, like almost like you're in a new world, or like a white room where you can't really distinguish anything from anything else. And the bus comes to a stop, and this girl covered in dust comes on. She says, "Welcome to Burning Man." And I realize I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where I'm staying. I don't know where I'm gonna find water. I don't know where I'm gonna find food. I have no plan. So this feeling of complete lost, of complete unknown, it's the most incredible, amazing, and scary feeling. But it was definitely memorable. So the bus pulls into this makeshift bus station, and me and the girl exit the bus. As dust is flying around, I luckily had my mask and my goggles with me and put them on, and I'm in this new world. It feels like you got dropped off into like a war zone, like an army soldier, and you just gotta make it happen. You just gotta do it. It's crazy. So this girl has a camp. She has a place to stay. Luckily, she needed some help bringing her bags to her camp. So I go with her to her camp. We arrive at her camp, and it's kind of like a bunch of RVs strategically placed to make a center open area. And the RVs have like lights and murals on them. It's kind of beautiful in a utilitarian sense. So we arrive at the camp, and the first person we meet is an older guy who seems kind of put off by the world. He says, "Yeah, Burning Man's all right." And it seems like he's been here a couple years, kind of enjoys it, but doesn't really care. It kind of didn't make me feel like I wanted to really stay there or be around for very long, so I said goodbye to the girl and went off on my own. So I had a map of the whole Burning Man, and on the map it said "walk in camping." So it looked like it was on the other side of the camp, but I mean, I'm fit. I can walk. It was all good. So I started walking. As I was walking, I saw some beautiful things, like this new dream state of like lights and cars and people and like playfulness. It was like people started to play again and were free and young. It was this crazy place. As I got to the other side, though, the playfulness diminished, and a realization that I have to camp came back. And the camping area was just open desert with nothing. No water, no toilets. The toilets were a little ways away when they're just porta potties, but in this area there was nothing. There was 2 other tents set up, but nothing. So I put my jacket on the ground, put my bag on the ground, and thought, this is it. This is where I'm gonna stay for the night. What a feeling. But so after a while, after digesting the realization of my camp, I kind of got anxious and decided to go explore. And thought, I should go try and find that girl again. So I walked all the way back to her camp, and thankfully she was just about to go out. And she was about to go out with 2 different people from the camp. And these two people looked really cool. There was a man and a woman. The woman was definitely over 50, but had the attitude of like a 20-year-old. She had like pink hair and like lights and this kind of spunky, young, open, free attitude, which was incredible to see. I've never seen someone like that has that age behind them. It was incredible. And the man who was friends with the woman was a dark-skinned guy, but I think he was been in America for a couple generations, it seemed. Like, he was well-versed in America, and I wouldn't call him African, but dark-skinned of some sort. And he had this cool, like, side-shaved, top high haircut with, like, tortoiseshell glasses, and he was, like, muscular. He just seemed like a really interesting and deep-minded man. So they invite me to go out with all of them, and we all go out on bikes. Bikes are the main way you get around the playa or Burning Man. So that night, we just ride around. We explore all the art, and more than that, explore each other and start to understand, like, where do you come from? Like, why are you here? Like, understanding also, like, how the other people view reality, which was more than anything what I was interested in, like, is how they view the art and the beauty of this place, almost as if it's like, this is the way we live. This is my reality that I bring back with me and live every day. This is home. And it was incredible to be with those people and experience that way of viewing the world. Anyway, so that night kind of came to an end as it got cold, and we headed back. Now, talking with the man, the deep-minded man, he seemed that he was the part of the management of the camp. And he invited me to stay in the camp, which was amazing. So it does cost money. It costs like around $200, but for a place to stay, people to be with, $200 is nothing for 8 days. So I accepted that, and I went back to sleep at the camp. I should have had a tent, like that's what was required for me to be in the camp, but graciously he let me stay in a yoga room, a makeshift yoga room made out of a carport and some carpet. And it was dusty and kind of cold, but I was still thankful. So that was the end of the first night. A crazy, crazy day. Wow. So the next day, I wake up in this yoga room, and the same man wakes me up and says, "We have yoga right now. Can you move your things?" So I start moving my things as people are coming into yoga and say, like, "Hey, good morning," and sneak out the back of the yoga room. And I kind of move around the camp and find that there's another kind of similar area where you can just kind of hang out. Another carport, and it was right connected to a third carport which served as the kitchen. So these two carports were kind of connected, and the one had a cot in it. Now, I'm not sure whose cot it was, but I put my things beside it and just relaxed. The next couple days were definitely challenging, but not as like mind-bending as that first day of like having no clue what I was doing. Like the morning after that first night, I woke up in the yoga room and still had no food. I mean, like, now I had a place to stay, and I had some water from the nice gentleman from the night before, but I still had no food. And I mean, there was a kitchen there, and I'm sure I could find food, but I knew that I didn't want to be such a burden on this camp. So I tried to find food elsewhere. When you get to Burning Man, they give you a book of all the events of the week. And on the bus, I was reading it with the girl from Aspen and realized that a lot of them had food. So at scheduled times during the day and during the week, you could get free food. And going around to the other camps meant you get to meet the other people and see the other camps. So I really didn't mind going and getting food from the other camps. So now I had shelter, water, and now food. And like, everything was cool. But it wasn't until my bags arrived. Can you believe that? It wasn't until my bags arrived that I like really felt home. But okay, let's get into like my bags arriving. So incredibly, Burning Man is a very organized place. I mean, it has to be. It's so massive. But there's like, from like street signs at every corner to like nurses on staff to like people to resolve like interpersonal problems. Like there's everything there that you need if you're really needing some help. Included in that is lost and found and lost airport luggage that's come in. Like incredibly, there's like a system for everything. And the system for finding lost items is really incredible. There's a computer system. It was like walking into one of those movie sets where like you're in a tent, but there's like a bunch of computers that looks really official. And there's like a couple rows of computers, and you just search whatever you're looking for, and like images of those items show up. And so I was searching for my luggage, so I typed in luggage or bag, and a bunch of images came up, and amazingly, an image of my bag was there. It's like, it was like Christmas Day, like seeing something that you never thought you would see again. And so I wrote down the number that was on the screen and gave it to the guy working there. He went in the back and came out with my luggage. It was like seeing like a lost friend or like something that you never expected to see again. But there was a sense of like lost adventure, of normality that came with that bag, because now everything's okay, everything's cool. You know, you didn't have to like survive anymore. It's not as much of an adventure. I mean, I still definitely took the bag, and you know, I wanted that bag, but there was a little bit of negative about having that bag. Anyway, so I went back and like set up my tent, my sleeping bag, like all my clothes that I had now. Everything was great. And that was kind of the end of the adventure. I did like meet a bunch more amazing people and like hang out. But yeah, I think that was the end of the major adventure. So coming to an end here, I think I'll probably go back. I think it's an experience I would love to have again, but I do have to be cautious because I know it's going to be different next time. But the experience you have there, the playfulness, the kind of internal awakening that happens in such a crazy place, it's an amazing feeling. So, I mean, if you're interested in going, here are like quickly like 3 tips. Tickets are impossible to get, so have 2 or 3 people trying to get tickets for just you. Get into a camp, like unlike what I was doing just by trying to do it free by myself. It's so much better and easier in a camp, so get in a camp. And do not go overboard with alcohol and drugs. There is plenty of them there. All the alcohol is free, and a lot of drugs you can get for free. You will have a terrible time if you go crazy on these drugs and alcohol. Like, It's a place for people who are strong and have willpower, because it will mess you up if you're not careful. Okay, that's it. That's it for my video. Like, if you enjoyed this video, like, I don't know, you can write a comment or something, I guess. But yeah, like, enjoy your time, enjoy your life, like, do something awesome, you know? And in a couple months, I'm going to Thailand, I think, so maybe make another video about that or something. Peace out. Talk to you later. Great chatting. All right. See ya.